The Powered Paragliding Show, brought to you in conjunction with Paramotor Magazine, with your hosts, Michael Purdy, Jeff Going, and Paul Anthem.
Let's fly away.
Welcome to the Power Paragliding Show. I'm Michael Purdy here with Jeff Going and Paul Anthem. And we just finished up another segment on avgas, and had some. After we were done, Paul had a lot of good information, so I want to go back to that. So real quickly, Paul, what were the points you just made about avgas?
Well, what I wanted to say is I started using avgas, but I realized fairly quickly that I like a 50-50 mix of avgas and pump gas. The very first time I used avgas, I filled up my whole tank with it. I had borrowed it from someone, and I realized right away my engine sounded different. It sounded really throaty, and I didn't know if it had more or less power, but I could just hear that it might have had a little less power, because you have to figure you're going from 91 octane to 100 or 101 octane, and that's a whole detonation sequence that's delayed that much more. So I thought, well, that doesn't sound quite right, and avgas is expensive. So I actually started using a mix of 50% avgas and 50% regular pump gas, and it's been working great.
Well, yeah.
And
now, one thing about the octane, if your motor's running well and not detonating, would that make any difference?
Well, he said it sounded different. That's interesting.
It sounded different. See,
Okay.
I can hear the difference because the detonation's probably a fraction of a second later. Octane, the higher the octane, the more it delays the detonation, so you don't have pre-ignition.
Jeff, do you always use premium?
No.
I don't either. But the Mexican gas is like 85 octane or something.
Oh, God.
It's really bad.
Now, picture the difference between 80 or 85 octane and 100.
Right, but they do have premium down here, and the premium is it doesn't have ethanol.
Oh, that's good.
So that's Mexican gas.
There's all sorts of issues. You've got the octane rating, and you've got the ethanol, and then you've got the avgas that has a little lead. And I just decided to try to get the best of or the least worst of both worlds and use a 50-50 mix. And
that's a good idea.
And it works. It's been working great. I mean, and it mixes well. I mean, there's nothing wrong with mixing that.
Yeah, I'm allowed to mix autogas and avgas in my airplane.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that works pretty well.
Okay.
And it kind of mellows everything out.
All right, that's good info.
Yeah.
So, Paul, do you use this flying all the time or just part of the time?
Well, whenever I can. Because there are so many small local airports I live by that I stop by and get avgas anytime. And then, of course, the pump gas is always there. So I always try to mix it in about a 50-50 ratio.
Hey, another thing I just thought of is that some ultralight airports have pump gas with no ethanol. We have one of those right near me.
Right.
You can get autogas with no ethanol.
And there's just so many benefits to not using just straight pump gas these days, especially with all the ethanol in it, which absorbs moisture. And these days, with about 90% humidity and 95 degrees weather, and your gas expanding in your tank that's sitting in your trunk,
right.
It starts making a big difference. And next thing you're going to say, hey, I can't get full power. Something must be wrong with my engine.
Do you have a TAC?
Yes, I do.
Did you notice a max RPM difference?
Put it this way, I just ordered a bunch of parts because I haven't been able to get full power, but oddly enough, that's happened ever since the temperature and the humidity's gone up. And of course, I did just get back from the high altitude fly-in, so that's another segment.
Right.
Well, obviously, you understand the heat and the effect that has on humidity on flying.
Yes. Well, yeah. I mean, there's all sorts of factors in that, and
density, altitude makes things all different.
Right. So.
But you haven't. You have not been getting max RPM on your motor for a while. It sounds like.
No, it's been dropping down the past few weeks ever since it's been heating up, and just like you, I don't go through a lot of gas, so my gas will sit around for a week or two before I've cycled through it.
Yeah.
So that makes it even more important to use something like avgas.
Right. Yeah, and especially I got 6 paramotors right now with the Enterprise in my driveway, so it's
Right. So you don't want to have to dump out all that gas because
Yeah.
it's been sitting around on a hot summer day, and next thing you know, the gas is basically dead.
You know, I got to fess up to something. I've probably fessed to this before. My little Fly 75, I use that to come back from dropping the helicopter off. I use it once a year, basically, maybe twice. And it's a Solo 210, and a Solo 210 doesn't mind. I mean, I've never had to get different gas. I don't know what the deal is, but the thing starts and runs every time.
That's amazing.
It really is amazing.
Well, it's just for what it is. It's a water pump basically, right?
Right.
Motor
Yes.
for irrigation.
And hey, if you got all that ethanol in your fuel, there it is. It's just a water pump.
All right. Okay. Last chance on fuel. Anything else?
Well, that's it. I have.
Don't run out.
Okay. Don't run. That's the best advice of all, really. So, okay, you're listening to the Powered Paragliding Show, and we have more.
Closing time. Every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end.